And I think I touched on it a little bit, how some conversations that have been had with other people that have been in the business for a very long time. There's a lot of people projecting this to happen. There's a lot of people projecting that the market is.
Few with the bosses view. You gotta sacrifice. You wanna move like bosses move.
YMA, Young Millionaires Association. Yeah, see, that's the association.
Hey, welcome, guys, to YMANation podcast, episode number 52. I was saying she was going to catch it. 54. It's 54.
You know what? He always is
on her show.
To mess up my show.
Well, I don't try to mess up your show. I got to make sure you awake.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, episode number 54.
Sabotage, y'all. Sabotage.
Well, I asked you to be, I say, why don't you start off on your show and be like, welcome.
I tried it and you was like, no, you didn't do it right. So here we are.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. I am Joe Wallace and this is
Rebecca Wallace.
And today is Real Estate Wednesday.
Real Estate Wednesday.
Before we get started, we have some news to put out. Guys, if you're on right now, make sure you like, comment, and
subscribe
to the channel. If we hit and when we hit 2,000 subscribers at the end of March, we are going to give away $2,000.
Ching ching.
Ching ching. Here is how you win. One, down in the comment section, there's going to be a link for a keyword that she is going to provide you guys sometime during this episode. 2, go on Facebook and go to YMANation page, and every episode, all you have to do is share it. Mm-hmm. Because if you share it, it tells the person who sees it to subscribe. So when you share it, it helps the people to go and subscribe to make sure that we get to 2,000, which we will. We will, because we're like almost there already. So we get to 15 and 1,600, 1,700. We're going to
keep going up.
That's right. We'll hit the 2,000 by the end of March, and we're going to do a $2,000 drawing. Also, on this section right here, make sure you click the little thumbs up button, and down in the comment section, hashtag YMANation.
Are you doing all that? I mean, we're just waiting to see if y'all are doing it.
So, last thing.
Okay.
Last thing. There's a new music single dropping on April the 9th.
A new one
called Let's Go under YMANation. Let's go.
Let's go then.
Let's go. And if you want an extra chance to win, make sure that you go down in the comment section and hashtag Let's Go. And you're going to be in another drawing. You know, we be giving that cash away.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's go.
And then, so April 9th, let's go. So, Real Estate Wednesday, what are we talking about today?
Okay, so I've been just looking at the market and what other agents have been discussing, not just South Carolina, you guys, all over. And so I came up with, what are you willing to pay?
What are you willing to pay?
What are you willing to pay? And I came up with this topic because one question that an agent asked on one of the real estate groups I'm in is, what is the highest amount that you've gotten an offer for over asking price, or that caused you to lose a deal?
Oh, yeah, we was talking about that.
Look, we had a full-blown conversation about this, and that's why I wanted to bring it to you guys, because sometimes conversations that we have that I find really intriguing and interesting, they're shareable conversations, and it's crazy out there. And I didn't even realize. I did realize because I'm in it, but you know, sometimes you get so embodied with your area that you kind of know what's going on in other places, and it's good to get like a national what's going on, especially with us having the podcast. I've delved more into what's happening, in other states.
Right.
But man, it is crazy out there. So what are you willing to pay? This is for really anyone that is a buyer, because the sellers are eating it up right now.
I'm just waiting to talk. I'm gonna let you go because when I jump in,
eating it up right now. So, what are you willing to pay?
What are you willing to pay?
And I also want to touch on this. Do you have the cash sitting aside to be competitive? Do you have that extra stash of cash to be competitive in some of these markets? So go ahead.
Most people don't, though. So, like, most people, they pull from like their 401 or like what they have in savings, and a lot of people just struggle to have the closing costs.
Right.
So when you have these people that there's a house on the market for $200,000 and someone is paying like $50,000 over the asking price, like how could you compete against that unless you just cash heavy?
Right.
But what I want to jump in and say, because I'm still just like over this one. I'm trying to remember what it was, but someone paid $100,000 over an asking price.
Well, the agent was saying, so these were agents that were going back and forth on this thread there was like 509 comments on this thread. And they were saying that they lost the bid because someone had overbid of the list price $110,000.
I said they must have wanted that house. That house must have had a pool.
And this was like a $700,000 house.
Yeah, $700,000 house. It probably got a pool, a gym, or basketball court.
I don't know what the house had and didn't have. But whoever, and the thing is, a lot of these offers being written up for, $50,000, $10,000, $30,000, $100,000. This is money that, number one, if they're obtaining a loan and they're keeping the appraisal contingency in there, go back and watch the episodes where we talk about contingencies. If they're talking about the appraisal,
that was last week episode
contingency on there, then they're having to come up with that difference because the lender is only going to lend what it appraises for, right? And a lot of these multiple offer situations where they're getting, all of this over asking price, they're saying, hey, this contingency has to go. We're not going to, because if it's contingent on appraisal and it's not going to appraise for $110,000 over asking price, we're not going to accept that offer with that appraisal in there.
Let me tell you guys, this is what's happening. So say that you're in the upstate of South Carolina and there's a house on the market for $250,000. And you have these people right now that's moving, due to the COVID for one, but people also are moving to Greenville because even in
Spartanburg,
the news,
Greenville.
They have it as like a top place
right.
to live. So you have these
in
people,
South Carolina.
I know I got a friend in California, got a 1,500 square foot home for $350,000. I told her, I said, do you know what $350,000 will get you here? That's like a 3,500 square foot home. Well,
depending on the area.
Depending on the area. Right. But even in Simpsonville, an expensive area, $350,000 will, what's that, 3-4 bedroom home?
Yeah.
About how many square foot?
Probably about 2,400.
1,500 square foot and 1 car garage. Like, you probably going to get 2 cars in Simpsonville, 2 car garage, between 25 to 3,000 square foot home.
Yeah.
But these people in California are selling that house, have like 100,000 equity in the house, So when they sell, they
Sometimes
got
more than
100,000
that.
or more than that.
Sometimes more than that, because a lot of, like you were saying, the home values there are more. So if they've been there for a long time and they sell and there's still high demand in that area, I mean, these people that are getting $50,000 over asking price for their house, I mean, that's cash that they got to go say, hey, I can offer $50,000 over asking price,
And I got
where
the
I'm
cash
going,
for it. And I got the cash for
it.
it. Yeah. So these people, they sell a house. They're moving here and they're cash heavy because they probably just sold their current house and moving here. Because people even contact you to say, can I have a contingent deal on if I sell my house? And then.
Right.
So that's crazy.
So what are you willing to pay?
What are you willing to pay?
And I say this because sometimes this information is depleting for first-time home buyers.
What do you mean by depleting?
Meaning that
discouraging. Okay.
Or that there's really no place for them in the market.
Oh, there's room for you guys.
There's room for you guys. But when you're in a market like this, you have to be willing to be more lenient towards what your wants and needs are than you typically would be.
Yeah, there's room for you guys because they're building out. You just have to be
flexible.
I have to be flexible, right? We were flexible, right?
Right.
We wanted to be like right close to.
I started off checking it every other week, just like most people do. Then it got out of control. I couldn't help myself. I started checking it day after day after day. I didn't realize that I was becoming addicted until my wife said something.
What did she say?
She said, it's just a credit score, relax.
Are you checking your credit score?
Huh? Hold on.
Simpsonville, but we found this beautiful home that's like 20 minutes away.
Right.
So it was like, what do we do? Are we going to travel or pass up the home? I mean, Are we going to pass up the home or we're going to travel?
Right.
That time, we're like, let's get the home.
Right. So, and sometimes you get so like wrapped up in, well, I have to be right here. And in some situations, you do have to be right there.
Right.
But a lot of times, it's just for the convenience for that time period when, things change in a year, 2 years, whatever. You never know what that time frame holds. So if you're flexible and you just, take that, well, it's an extra 15 minutes. I could do that for a short period of time because I don't know what's going to happen a year or 2 years from now. I may not be working at the same place. I may, be closer to here. I may find something closer to here that pays me more money. You just never know what lies ahead. So being flexible is important.
You have a keyword for them?
Pay.
Pay. P-A-Y?
P-A-Y.
P-A-Y.
Yeah.
Who got my money? Where's that money at? Where's that
money
pay?
at?
Where's that pay?
So the topic was interesting. That was one of the situations that they had. But this is interesting because it's happening. Like, these are agents from all over the United States. So, your bigger cities, your smaller cities. I mean, these are agents everywhere. And typically when I talk, I say, well, this is more so for South Carolina purposes or whatever. But there's an agent in like Denver, Colorado right now that says they're dealing with the same thing where they're getting over asking price. The market's competitive with multiple offer situations. Now, what this means for people who want to or are selling their house, that don't mean go out here and list your house at the very top of your comp. I mean, you can, but knowing that the market is the way it is, if we had one of our buyer agents, and one of his clients found a house. The house was listed actually way under, well, not way under, but a little bit under where the comps came in at, because he comped it out. And there were like multiple offers on the house. They ended up doing the same thing. They got like, I think it ended up being like 12 or 18,000 over, somewhere between there.
Over the comp?
Over the listing price.
Oh.
So, you know, at some point they cut it off because they were afraid they were going to run into appraisal issues, and a majority of the people that were putting offers are contingent on financing.
Right.
So, you know, unless they had that cash, it was going to cause issues later. But that's another example of, you know, you get into the multiple offer and here you are getting outbid by someone that's bidding, you know, 12, 18 grand over.
I got an interesting fact here on Redfin. This is in the Spartanburg market. In February of 2018, the median sale price for a house was $137,500. Let's fast forward. Now in Spartanburg, February of 2021, the median is $200,000. That's like $60,000 over
2.5.
3-year period. February of 2018, 19, 20, 21. 3 years, it has gone up. So that's an average of $20,000 increase every year on average. So
if you're in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and you want to sell your house because you probably got some equity in there, because the values have increased a little bit and you've kept your house, then, you know, you can call me or call the office, 864-249-1437. There's a lot of people moving in. So, you know,
if you're trying to buy a house, contact the Pyramid Group with Keller Williams, the Pyramid Group with Keller Williams, 864-249-1437.
Yep. Because, I mean, the market's there. So it's good to get in now while you have the opportunity. This is what's crazy.
Uh-oh.
We were talking about the market crashing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I touched on it a little bit, how some conversations that have been had with other people that have been in the business for a very long time. There's a lot of people projecting this to happen. There's a lot of people projecting that the market is going to crash. So, you know, it's good to get in while you can. And while the market is good, or sell while you can while the market's good.
Well, I'm going to give you my perspective on a crash. A market crash, just like the stocks do.
It'll
they
rebound.
always recover.
Yeah.
They always recover. So if you are in a place to continue paying your mortgage, just know that just through history, it's always going to recover, right? And normally it recovers at a higher rate. So if on average the houses in Spartanburg, I told you that's why I was hashtagging new big city like for the last 8 years, because the market and the cost of living in Greenville and Spartanburg is going to increase year over year until it gets caught up to like the Atlanta and Miami and New York. Soon the median house out here is going to be like $350,000.
And that's why, you know, going back through the podcast and watching it and going through the steps and really understanding as a buyer and a seller what you're looking at doing and what your intents are in those positions, selling and rebuying or whatever the case is. It's all about knowledge and understanding what's going on out there.
Definitely. So
that you can make the best decision for yourself. And that's all we want to do. We want to give you information. Yeah, you could Google this information. Probably 99.9% of what I give you guys is things that you can look up yourself. So it's not anything that's, you know, this privatized information, but we're trying to give it to you in a manner that makes it more understandable for the general public to understand.
Right. And then you go like into like having it explained out too. So it's not just here's some information that you read. Like you have it broke down into like, okay, so here's the information. Now let me explain it to you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us for Real Estate Wednesday. Rebecca be breaking it down.
Yes.
We will see you guys for Friday football.
Friday football.
I think we're going to have a special guest for Friday football too. Actually, I don't even think we're going to have a special guest for Friday football. Yeah,
y'all gotta watch.
The podcast is growing. It's growing. So we're going to have some NFL players on Friday football.
And we're working on the special guest for Real Estate Wednesday.
She's working on a special guest.
I'm working on it, guys.
We already going to have it locked in for you guys. But guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And down in the comment section, hashtag YMANation. And last but not least, make sure that you put in that keyword. Go down in the comment section and click the link. Go to the website and put in that keyword. I'll see you guys on Friday.
View what the bosses view. You gotta sacrifice. You wanna move like bosses move.
YMA, Young Millionaires Association. Yeah, see, that's the association.